Hello, Algebra 2. This is a video of an explanation of the homework from Lesson 11-2, Angles of Rotation. So in exercise 1, they want us to draw a rotation diagram for the angle and identify which quadrant it's in, state one positive and one negative coterminal angle, and also identify the reference angle. So this is some of the vocabulary that you learned in this lesson. So first one, A, I have theta is 135. So I'm always starting right here on the x-axis. And if I want to go 135 degrees, remember all of my rotations or my angles are going to be in a counterclockwise direction. So 135 is this right here, what I have my black arrow, okay? Because this is 90. It's a little bit past 90, but it's not, it's less than 180 degrees. So it's 135 degrees. That is quadrant 2. Remember, this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Now, coterminal angles, so 135, I want to know what other angle also matches up with it, but going in the other direction. So if I was to start here, but go clockwise, what would that angle be? This is 180, plus what's that little extra right there? It's going to be 225 degrees. Now, since I'm going clockwise, I say it's negative 225 degrees. Basically, all you have to do to find the other angle that it's coterminal with is to do 360 minus 135, and I will get that 225. But remember, I'm going in the opposite direction, so that will be negative 225. So basically, the black angle, which is 135, and the red angle, which is negative 225, they are coterminal. They both have that initial ray that's the same, and they both have that terminal ray that's the same. They share that. Now, the reference angle is always based on the x-axis. So my angle of 135 degrees, what angle is this right here that matches up or that would make me get to the x-axis? That's considered my reference angle, right? So 180 minus 135, my reference angle is 45 degrees. For B, I have theta is 300. So again, I start here and I go 300 degrees. So this is 90, 180, 270, and a little bit past 270, which is right here. So that's 300 degrees. Quadrant 4, my coterminal angles are 300 and negative 60. So the negative 60 is this red angle right here. I did 360 minus 300. And my reference angle is 60 degrees. Again, it's the angle that would bring me to the x-axis, and I would want to go in this direction here. That's my reference angle. Negative 110 degrees for C starts here, but now I'm going clockwise. So this is 90, and then 110 is a little bit past 90. That's in quadrant 3 right here. That's where the terminal ray lays. My coterminal angles are negative 110 and positive 250. I did 360 minus 110 is 250. And then my reference angle. So basically, from where this terminal ray is of the 110, how many more degrees is it till I reach that x-axis? And that would be 70 degrees right there. In D right here, negative 310, I'm starting here and I'm going clockwise. So this is 90, 180, 270, 310 is a little bit past that. So that's in quadrant 1 I'm in right there. The coterminal angles are negative 310 and 50. And my reference angle is also 50 degrees. So here's my angle. This is the terminal ray. How many more degrees is it to get to this x-axis? All right, 360 minus 310, 50 degrees. A angle of 85 degrees is going to be right here. Oh, this says 85. That should be quadrant 1. All right, I haven't left the first quadrant, so it's right here, 85 degrees. It's just a little bit less than 90. My coterminal angles are 85 and negative 275. And my reference angle is just the angle itself, 85 degrees, because I want to know to the x-axis. I'm referencing always the x-axis. 560 degrees is more than 360, so it's basically going around more than once. So I subtract 360 and it's 200. So it's actually going around once and then another 200 degrees. So I've drawn it right here in black. The coterminal angles are 200 and negative 160. So the other angle, that negative 160, is in red right there. And my reference angle is where this terminal ray lays. and what's the difference between that and the x-axis? So subtract 180, it's 20 degrees. 200 minus 180 is 20 degrees. Question 2 wants to know which of the angles when drawn in standard position would not be coterminal with an angle that measures 270. Negative 90 is the same as 270 because I would start here and I'd go negative 90 degrees. That would be the same thing. I'm looking for something that's not coterminal. Choice 2, 990, I subtract 360. I still am more than 360. I subtract 360 one more time and I'm at 270. That's exactly the same. 630, I subtract 360, I'm at 270. 720, subtract 360, and subtract 360, I'm at 0. So that's the one that is not coterminal with an angle that measures 270 degrees. Number 3, which of the following angles would not have a reference angle equal to 30 degrees? So all of them are good except for choice 3. Choice 3 is 120 degrees. So if I go 120 degrees in this direction, my reference angle to get to the x-axis, the shortest distance to this x-axis would be on this side over here in the second quadrant, is going to be 60 degrees. 180 minus 120 is 60. Each of these has a reference angle of 30 degrees. Negative 30 is just here, negative 30. That's also going to have a reference angle of 30. 210 starts here, it goes 180, and then it goes a little bit past 180, that's 30 degrees. And then negative 330 starts here and goes all the way around to the first quadrant. It also has a reference angle of 30 degrees. To convert my angle to radians, I'm just multiplying by pi over 180. This is on your reference sheet, how to convert. So I just cancel out as much as I could. I canceled out the 0 and the 0. So basically I'm dividing by 10, both the top and bottom, and I get 7 pi over 18. Same thing on B, I multiply by pi over 180. And I'm going to cancel out, divide out by 10, I get 20 pi over 18, and I divide it by 2, and I get 10 pi over 9. Number 5, I'm converting from radians into degrees. So this time I multiply by 180 over pi. So the pi's cancel. 3 goes into 180 60 times. 2 times 60 is 120. On B, again, the pi's cancel. I multiply by 180 over pi. The pi's cancel. 2 goes into 180 90 times, but I did have that negative sign right there. How many degrees does 5 radians equal? So 5 radians, I multiply by 180 over pi. I can do that right in my calculator, and I get 286 degrees. And then 7, I have the length of an arc. So a dog is attached to a 10-foot leash. So that means that's the radius. He travels around an arc that has a length of 25 feet. Which of the following represents the radian angle he has rotated through? So S equals R theta. R stands for the radius. Theta is the angle in radians, and S is the length of the arc. So I already know the length of the arc is 25. I know the radius, and I'm trying to find out theta. I divide by 10, and it's 2.5, and the answer actually wasn't there. I typed something or copied something wrong. So 7 is 2.5 pi. 8, I want to convert how many degrees are in a radian measure of 7 pi over 12. I multiply by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel out. The 12 goes into 180 15 times, and I'm left with 105 degrees. 9, S equals R theta. So I know the length of this right here from A to B is 247. I know the radius is 150. And I'm going to divide and find out what theta is. Theta is just the angle in radians. So theta is 1.64, but they want to know the angle in degrees. So I take that 1.64 radians and I'm going to change it to degrees. All I'm going to do right in my calculator is take 1.64 and multiply it by 180 over pi, and I get 93.9 or 4 degrees. And then number 10, I'm going to convert my 2.75 radians over pi. I do that in the calculator and I get 157.6. And then I just have one multiple choice. Which angle is coterminal with an angle of 125 degrees? So 125 degrees, I'm always going counterclockwise right here. I'm going to be in the second quadrant. and the coterminal angle would be negative 235 degrees. I basically did 360 minus 125 is 235.